Okay, this is probably going to be one of the craziest videos I ever make, and this is going to be a huge claim. So strap up, buckle up, and hear me out. I believe I'm going to be the Apple of computers and the Netflix of movies. Whoa! I know that's huge, but hear me out. I'm not going to tell you my business model right now, and the reason why is because I really honestly believe that I'm going to change the way that people train with guns forever. And when that happens, when Steve Jobs came out with the iPhone, what happened? He instantly got tons and tons of competition, and the only reason they rose to the top is because they made their system the best. They made their product the best product out there, and I need to make sure that my product is the best, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, is to make sure that when I come out with my pistol fundamentals like program, the first one that's going to teach the beginners, it's going to basically be my iPhone. When I come out with that, it needs to be the best. And so that's why I've gone through 3 iterations of it. I'm currently running a pilot program. I'm trying to make it so good that nobody else can make a better program, right? So that if somebody else comes out, they're like, it kind of just seems like we're copying if we do it that way. We have to figure out a different way to do it. We have to do it our way, right? And I want to make mine the best way. And I know it's a huge claim, but the 2 analogies, the reason I think I'm going to be the Apple is, think about what Apple did to computers. Apple didn't make better computers. They made computers that were easy for everyone to use, right? The problem with pistol shooting is everybody, if you ask anybody in America who isn't already a good pistol shooter, hey, do you think pistol shooting's easy? They'd be like, probably not. No, like you probably have to go to a lot of classes and it's like really expensive and it would take a lot of time probably, right? So these would probably be the 3 objections. One, it's hard to learn how to shoot a pistol, takes a lot of time, and it's expensive. I'm going to take that idea, I'm going to flip it on its head. It's not hard to shoot a pistol. It's very easy, right? That's what Apple did. They took technology, what used to be hard, and they made it easy. What Netflix did with movies is they did the other 2, right? So they kind of did 2 different things, but they were solving 2 different problems. The crazy part is I'm solving all 3. I'm making it easy, and I'm making it cheap, and I'm making it not time intensive. And what Netflix did is they made it cheap to rent movies and to watch movies, and they made it way more convenient, right? You didn't have to take a ton of time out of your day to go to Blockbuster and go rent movies, right? You could just sit at home, turn on your TV, and then watch a movie. Right now, if you want to learn how to shoot a pistol and you have no idea what you're doing, you have to take a class. It's probably $99 to probably $250. If it's private training, it's going to be even more expensive than that. My brother, who started duty to train in Lakeville, Minnesota, he offered private training and concealed carry classes, and his private training classes were $450 for 4 hours. And I think it was $250 for 2 hours. So $450 for 4, $250 for 2, very expensive private training classes. And he was an amazing teacher, but the vast majority of people can't afford that, right? So that's kind of like a little bit of a Blockbuster aspect of it, right? Like he was doing what everybody else was doing. I'm going to completely change the game. And I know that that's a crazy, crazy claim. But I am going to be the Apple of computers and the Netflix of movie watching. And the thing is Apple's still super expensive. I'm not going to be expensive. I'm going to make my pistol training inline and cheaper than most other trainings, but the convenience factor and the ease with which you'll be able to learn will make it just so worth it. Like people won't even, I'm going to sell my courses for $150. And people, I believe, will look at my courses and be like, oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. I want to get into more advanced training down the road, but the reason that Apple has done so well, it's not because they sell lots of $5,000 computers, right? They sell $5,000 computers, they sell $2,000 computer screens and $3,000 modems and stuff like that. But the vast majority of people, they have a basic MacBook and they have like their base iPhone, right? Do they sell some like really high-end stuff? Yeah, but that's not the majority of people. So I do want to get into that type of thing eventually, but where did Apple start out? Let's just take newer technology that we all know about, because I don't know about like their inner workings. I know they came out with like the Mac, and when they came out with the Mac, that was like their first big thing. But recently, they came out with like, really, if you start with like iPhone, that's where like they're, they stopped doing their iPods and stuff like that. So like their iPods and stuff, but really where like Apple became like really the monster that it is today is when they started their iPhone game. And when they started their iPhone game, they completely changed the game, but then they got tons and tons of competition. And that's the only thing that concerns me, is staying ahead of my competition. I don't believe that I'm going to have an issue with success. I believe success is going to be like one of my biggest issues, because so many people are going to want to copy what I'm doing that I'm going to have to try and constantly stay ahead of the game, like Apple did. When they came out with their smartphone, what happened? Everybody flooded the market with their own cell phone, with their own smartphone. And Apple had to make sure that their smartphone constantly and consistently was always the best. And it's not always the best. It's not always like the most technologically efficient one, but it is the most user-friendly. And so that's what I'm going to have to make sure of, is that I will always remain the most user-friendly. And not only that, but like that's one of the parts where I do feel like I personally am great for like leading this company, because I'm like a little bit intense in this like interaction, but I'm a very lighthearted person. I can get intense, right? Who can't? But I do think that you need some intensity in order to like lead a company. But I want people to realize that pistol shooting is fun and it's lighthearted, and like it doesn't need to be this super intense thing. You can, if you're an 80-year-old grandmother and you want to learn how to shoot pistols, you can. If you're a 20-year-old girl and you went to college and you don't feel safe and you want to learn how to shoot a pistol, you can. It's very, very easy. And so I'm going to change the game. I'm going to make pistol shooting easy for everybody, and I'm going to make it, time efficient, right? I'm going to make it easy for people to do on their own time. I'm going to make it cheap, and I'm going to make it easy and fun. So I just wanted to, I don't know, this is like a huge claim. I know how big a claim this is. But one of the reasons, I forget if I just said this, but the reason that I don't want to tell you my business model right now is because I do believe my biggest issue with this company is success breeds competition. And I don't want to give out like what I'm exactly doing until I actually start doing it. Because once I start doing it, then there's really nothing I can do. And maybe I'll like switch my mind, but I've kind of been thinking about this and frankly praying about it. I'm not exactly sure like when to like go public with what I'm doing. And I know I need to kind of create buzz about my company, just like any company that's starting. You don't want to wait until you launch to like start creating buzz. But I'm not underselling it here. I'm going to change the way that I will be the Apple of technology, and I will be the Netflix of movies. I'm just going to be the duty to train of firearms. Like, that's what I want to be compared to Netflix. I want to be compared to Apple. And I believe that my business model will change the way that people train forever with firearms. And I know that's a big claim, but I think I can do it. I know I can. That's honestly one of the problems that I have, is that I know I can do it. One of the things is that if I fail, a lot of people who would have gotten a firearm, would have gotten a pistol, and would have taken my training will not otherwise do that. If I fail, then they won't have the opportunity to do that. So I have to figure out a way to make this work, because if I fail, then a lot of people who right now don't feel safe in their homes, maybe because they live in like a city and they just live in like a crime-ridden area, and like the cops aren't showing up because they're overwhelmed nowadays. A lot of these people who would have taken my training and would finally feel safe in their home will not have that opportunity because I failed. And I know that's like a crazy claim. Like, that's like, oh, you're putting so much weight on your shoulders. But I do feel like that weight. Like, I think I have, like, think about if Steve Jobs didn't create the iPhone. Like, how many people would be affected? Like, I wouldn't be able to FaceTime my family. Like, he literally changed the way that we interact with people. And that's like a huge responsibility, but I think that my job is frankly more important. Like, when it comes to like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like number one is safety, right? Or number one is food, number two is safety, right? Like, it's like survival. Let's look that up real quick. Maslow's hierarchy. It's just basically like the 5 things that you need, and the higher you go, like kind of the safer you are, and the more you can kind of focus on other stuff. So the first layer is physiological needs. So you need air, right? Like if you don't have air, it doesn't matter if you're safe or not. Like if you don't have air, then like you don't care about being safe. Like you'll do anything to get air. So air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. Like as long as you have those things, then you can think about other stuff. But the second layer is safety needs. It's personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. But the first one of physiological needs is air. The first one of safety needs is personal security. That's what I'm providing. I'm going to be providing people with their own personal security. And like everybody needs that. And I think that going down the road, I don't think that, America's gonna, and the world is all of a sudden just gonna be like, oh, kumbaya, everything's amazing. I do think that we're kind of on the road to a rough patch. And I think that if I can give people the ability to feel safe in their homes, I will do a world of good. And I think at the end of my life, I'll look back on it and be like, I did a lot of good for a lot of people. And that's my goal. And I want to stay ahead of the game because I do believe that a lot of CEOs and, business owners and stuff like that, they just get so successful that it just kind of, things start to become like corrupt, and I don't know, they just stop like doing good and focusing on like really helping people. And the person that I keep thinking about is like a single mom who lives in inner city, who can't, call the cops because they don't usually show up because they're so overwhelmed. She wants to make sure that she feels safe in her home. That's the person that I want to make sure can afford my training. And I have thought about like maybe figuring out a way to give away my training for free, but I do think that if you can afford a pistol and ammo, which you have to have in order to like have personal security with a firearm, the minimum you could afford, the minimum that will cost probably is about $250. And that's for like the base level pistol. Like it's not a pistol I would ever use personally because I can afford to buy a nicer one. Like I just wouldn't buy a pistol that inexpensive because you do run into like problems and stuff like that. Not that like they're not good pistols. You can get a better pistol for like an extra $200. So I would just pick a different pistol. But if you need to go budget option, you're looking at $250, $300 minimum. And if you can afford $250, I'm going to be selling my courses for $150, at least the beginner course, because I want everybody to be able to afford the beginner course. For more advanced courses, I might like raise the bar, but I want everybody, just like kind of like Apple, they want everybody to be able to afford, their iPhone. And even though it's really not affordable, they've kind of figured out a way to make it affordable with like monthly payments and stuff like that. So everybody can basically afford an iPhone. I want everybody to be able to afford my pistol training. And there might be more advanced courses that are like $250, $300 or something like that. But I want to make sure that everybody can afford my training because I think everybody has the right to defend themselves and feel safe, especially in their home. And in the Declaration of Independence, let's see, I don't want to mess this up, but Declaration of Independence, it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And then when they same people that wrote this made the Bill of Rights, what was the number 2 right that they were talking about? Second Amendment. You have a right to defend yourself, and I believe that to my core. And I think that if I can teach people how to train effectively and cheaply in a time-efficient way, then far more people will purchase a pistol because they'll finally feel like they're comfortable doing so. And if I can do that, then I can change the way that people talk about firearms in America. And I know that's a huge claim, but that's my mission. And that's the mission of Duty to Train. And that's, frankly, if I can do that, then I will have honored my brother. This entire company is just one big tribute to my brother who passed away last year. And if I can change the way that people talk about pistol shooting and put Duty to Train in the mouth of every single pistol shooter in America, just like Apple is in the mouth of every single person in America, just like Netflix is, if I can put Duty to Train in the mouth of every single person who talks guns in America, then I will have honored my brother and I will have done my job. So that is my mission. That's what I'm going to do. And I hope you enjoy the ride. You follow me and follow along, because I think this is going to be one hell of a ride. I'm going to document the whole thing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where it ends up. So until next time, stay safe, live free, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.